All right. Everybody, thank you guys for attending. We'll give a little while, give a second for everybody to kind of get in, so that, just make sure you're sitting, apart from each other, practice social distancing, all that good stuff. I'll just give maybe a couple minutes here to get everybody in here. All right. And again, everyone, just giving everybody a little bit of time to get in, to get into the room here before we start. Let's see people still falling in. That's good. Again, like I said, make sure 6 feet apart, practice social distancing as you sit down. For those who are new to this particular platform, we're using GoToWebinar. This will allow you to ask questions. You can enter your questions into the chat box. And we do encourage you ask questions. We put on these webinars for you. So as we wait for a couple more people to get in, just make sure that hey, look, if you want to ask questions, if you have any questions, or whatever, we'll address those questions at the end of the presentation, and we're happy to get them. So send them on over to us. All right, guys, it is 11:03. I think we're good to begin right now. So first of all, just want to introduce myself. My name is G. Edward Livis. I'm from the Better Business Bureau of Metro Atlanta, Athens, and Northeast Georgia. And today we're bringing you our second in a series called Navigating the New Normal, which is our webinar series, our live webinar series, that we're bringing to you, all the BBBs across the country and all of our, accredited businesses around the country here too, basically to allow you to probe our subject matter experts' minds. Today, we have quite the treat for you guys. Today, we have David Sean Smith from I Speak Life, which is a life coaching service here in the metro Atlanta area. Now, Mr. Smith is an Atlanta based executive and personal life coach who's been in the field of human development for more than 15 years. Now, he's got a BA in communications and rhetoric, and he's got an MS in leadership and coaching. Now, he's got certifications as well in executive coaching and anger management. Now, per David, it's been his joy to listen to and take part in conversations across the USA and abroad around the subject of purpose and destiny. Why am I here? Now, as a life coach, he's given numerous talks to, like one-on-one talks to bright, smart, creative, and passionate people who stopped in along the way for much deeper answers. Now, he also has a background as a licensed minister, and that's giving him the tools to help others on their spiritual quest and to kind of gain a much broader perspective around spirituality. So again, I'm going to introduce Mr. David Sean Smith to you guys. As I was saying before in the prelim, we're glad to have you here. Make sure you engage. Make sure you ask questions. He's going to give you a lot of knowledge and everything. But if you have any questions or anything for him, now's the time to do it. Ask him while he's here, and he can address those questions. So, without any further ado, I want to introduce you guys to Mr. David Smith, and he's going to come in and enlighten everybody, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Mr. Smith, it is a pleasure to have you here today. And I'm gonna just go ahead and give the floor to you because I know you got some things to say to everybody out there.
Thank you, George. I appreciate it. So hello to everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. I want to thank BBB for reaching out to me and for allowing me to really share with you just a few insights around navigating the new norm. As we do know that we're in just a different time now, from the way that we work, the way that we move through the world, and the way that we interact as human beings. Everything has changed, but not only has everything changed, but a lot of things have stayed the same as well. So what I want to address today is I want to speak to those navigating the mental aspect of this new norm. And also, I want to look at it through the lens of business. What does it mean to really run a business in this particular paradigm that we're in? What does it mean to be an employee? And also the mental aspect of it. So let me just give you just a little bit more why this is so important to me. As an executive coach here in Atlanta, as George indicated, I've been in business over 15 years with I Speak Life Coaching, and as of late, the consistent questions I've had over the past few months or the last quarter has been around stress, not being able to stay focused, understanding how to set boundaries at work. You're now working from home, and also you're dealing with multiple people working from home. Just understanding how to navigate that space in a different kind of way. That's been very difficult for a lot of people. Setting boundaries at work. Now that you do not have to leave an office, because there used to be a cutoff time. You used to arrive at a certain time and then you used to leave at a certain time. Now there's no arrival and there's no exit. So when do you cut off work? Do you consistently have the same schedule from 8 to 5 or 7 to 3 or 10 to 6, whatever that may be for you? But some people are saying they're working much longer now. And so we want to look at ways in which we can integrate a more work-life integration kind of experience here, because we cannot have workers burned out, mentally burned out, physically burned out. And so we want to make sure that as we navigate this new norm, that we set up healthy boundaries. So I'm hearing about boundaries. I'm hearing about stress. I'm hearing about I need to spend quality time with the family. I'm hearing about I got to run the business in this new norm. So today I'm going to kind of cover the gamut around the business aspect of navigating the new normal, the employee aspect, what employees are asking for, what the demands are, what the needs are, and then also the mental aspect. So let's start first of all with the mental aspect. Mental health is critical in this particular time. And the reason I want to start there first is because we're under a lot of stress from COVID-19, working from home, wearing masks, thinking about social distancing, concerning ourselves with family, concerning ourselves with children going back to school, if that happens, children coming back from school. It's just a full range of that. We haven't even mentioned health, trying to get exercise in, trying to get a proper rest, trying to maintain a healthy diet. All those things are critical to our everyday being. I want to deal with that right now because having a healthy mental health in this particular moment is going to allow us to navigate the business world and also navigate as employees. So let's start there first. What does it mean to have mental health? That means our social, emotional, and psychological well-being is at play. That we are healthy in these particular aspects. So socially, it's very difficult now for a lot of people. If we look at the social aspect of mental health, people are feeling lonely. They're feeling isolated. Although cities are opening up, although counties are opening up, although states are opening up, rolling out phase one, they're rolling out phase two, rolling out phase three. Some are still locked down. And people are feeling the brunt of that. You can't really navigate the grocery store. You can't really hang out with your family. You can't do the happy hour. You can't do your Zumba class like you used to with your friends. You can't do your spin class as you used to with your friends. In that space of going to a gym or going to a local grocery store and just moving through the world, just kind of cavalier. Those things have absolutely changed over time. And this quarter, what I'm seeing is that's added a lot of stress to a lot of people. People's sleep is off, their eating habits are off, and so we want to talk about that first. How to have a healthy social component while you navigate this new space. That is connecting with your family. Let's start there first. I'd say if you are in a household and there's multiple people in the household that are working from home, let's look at couples first. If you're dealing with your husband is upstairs, you're downstairs, you whatever it may be, and both of you are working, and the kids are on the other side of the house and they're doing what they're doing for school or just doing what kids are doing throughout the day during the summer. Stay connected to your partner, stay connected to your wife. There are ways to do that throughout the day. You could be have a coffee time, send a text up, say, hey, you want to stop 5 minutes, meet me in the kitchen for coffee, just to check in. Send a text to say, hey, I'm down here thinking of you, hope you're rocking and rolling today, look forward to seeing you at dinner. Just those little things mean a lot to stay connected to people. I really emphasize that with people who are navigating spaces as couples, that they continue to have touch points, have those milestones where they can have a break throughout the day, or maybe go to dinner. Can I take you out to dinner tonight at 8 o'clock or 8:30? That means you sit at the table together as a couple. The kids are down, the house is quiet. You have your couple time. That helps with the social dynamic of being connected right there in your own home. You can have a dynamic experience right there in your home without having to worry about a restaurant and social distancing in your own home. You can, if you drink wine, you can have a bottle of wine with your partner, with your husband, with your wife, and enjoy that experience. So don't forget to have that connection. Keep that, keep that, keep that front and center. For example, I had one couple who said that she came upstairs one day for coffee, and they worked different times, and it was her time to log on to work. And there was a cup of coffee there, a cup with the note saying, "Coffee is on me today. Thinking of you. Have a great day." Those little gestures means a lot in our social dynamic aspect. So don't forget to connect with that. If you're single and feeling isolated and not having, you're living by yourself, or maybe you have an animal, or maybe you're a single parent and you got children, there's no other adults in the home, you're not in a connected relationship, then your social aspect is going to look a little bit differently. So that means you may have to set up some time to spend with friends virtually. It may be a neighbor, or it could be going for a walk, but keeping the social distance with the friend. There's ways in which you can do that, even as a single person. Connect with your friends, connect with family, connect with those who are important to you, so that you can have that sense of, so that you won't feel so lonely and so isolated. That's part of our social dynamic. We have lost that in this particular moment because so many things have been. We now have to be careful in terms of how we move. So if you're single and you're feeling isolated and you're feeling lonely and you're feeling disconnected, connect with your friends virtually. Have happy hours with them. Make sure your Saturday afternoons, you normally would go to brunch, maybe you have a virtual brunch with them. All of that is critically important to the social dynamic of you having a healthy mental health experience as you navigate this new norm. Lastly, I want to talk about play. We as adults have forgotten how to play in the midst of navigating the new norm. I'm talking board games, all those things are critically important, but I'm talking about just having a sense of imagination. What haven't we considered as adults that we're willing to do? So people are now beginning to do all sorts of new things that they've forgotten as children that they actually enjoy. Some persons are building model cars. They're now building train sets. They're playing virtual games with one another. Don't forget to play. That's a social aspect. Have fun with it. There are no boundaries. Enjoy yourself. You can have adult play. You can have play with the kids. You can have play with your cousins. You can have play with your neighbors. Don't forget the aspect of play. That's part of this social aspect of navigating the new norm. We must be playful. We must continue to remember that we're just big kids now, even though we're fully adults and we have children and family and responsibilities. But there's a kid inside of us that still needs to be recognized. So don't forget to play. So let me go back and reiterate the top three things around keeping the social connected while you're navigating the new norm. Number one, if you're in a home and you're a couple, remember to touch bases with one another. Send a text throughout the day. Send a cute email throughout the day. I tell couples, have your own email system just for you two. Just have that. That's not an email that's connected to anything other than for you two. And you send some love notes, you send a beautiful poem, you send a video you think is very sweet. You just check in with one another throughout the day. Send a text upstairs or downstairs. Hey, thinking of you. Hope you're doing well. Hang in there. Can't wait to see you at lunchtime. Can't wait to prep dinner with you at dinner time. How are the children doing? Have you heard from them? Anything, whatever it may be. Connect. Okay. Don't just go throughout the day as if it's a regular day. Do not neglect the very thing that feeds your soul, your spirit, and your mind. Absolutely integrate that in a way that allow both parties to feel connected, to feel wanted, to feel needed, to feel heard, seen, and understood. And the same applies with the single people. If you're single, widow, divorced, never married, by yourself, maybe raising children up by yourself, or you got animals and you're just not in a committed relationship at this moment, then you connect with friends and family. You find ways to do that. Connect with neighbors. Jump on virtual kind of classes, virtual experience. Find the ways in which you feel connected. If that's music, is that reading, is that whatever it may be on a social level. So you can do that as a couple, you can do that individually, and then also remember to add play. Do not forget that we need to play. I cannot emphasize enough of that. To reignite the kid inside of you. Everything is serious now, from COVID-19 to unemployment, to just figuring out the school system moving forward. College students need to be working, internships, Asian parents. There's a lot of uncertainty, and we forget that we need play. And schedule play in. All these things can be integrated into your calendar. Now, I know that may look like another thing you have to do, but it should be integrated. When I use the word, you're going to hear the word throughout these next few moments we're going to be together. You're going to hear integration a lot because the idea of work-life balance really isn't, how can I say this? That's really isn't the most honest word or the most honest connect phrase that we can use. I like workplace integration. Work-life balance means we're always juggling, we're always trying to, we got one leg up, one leg down. Some days we get it, some days we don't get it. That's a work-life balance experience. I don't think we'll ever be balanced. I think we have to integrate play, integrate intimacy, integrate social connection, integrate quiet time, integrate sleep, whatever. So when we integrate things, it feels like it's this natural way of breathing that we've always been doing that. It's a flow. It's effortless. It doesn't feel like that is another thing on your list to do. So then play at the very beginning, if you're now beginning to say, I need to play more as an adult. And you may say, okay, I need to put that on my calendar. It starts off feeling like there's another thing to do, but eventually you're going to integrate that where it becomes just seamless. So it doesn't feel like it's another thing to do. Okay, so work-life balance is is a misnomer, I think, but work-life integration includes the social aspect I just mentioned, those relationship foundational aspect. And the reason I started there is because we can leverage our homes, our relationships, our springboards into the world. If we fortify our homes, fortify our relationships, solidify those things that give us what we need, the fuel that we need to move throughout the world, then we can move into work. We can address all kinds of issues and concerns because our foundation, the very thing that we need that give us what we need to recharge, to be replenished, to feel alive, that we have those needs have been attended to. Okay, so those are the three things. We want to look at our relationships, in our personal and our personal romantic relationships are critically important, our platonic relationships with our friends, and then also remembering as adults to play. So if you have employees, I want you to start asking them, hey, what have you done for fun? Right? Don't forget you need to have some fun. You may not be able to go to the bowling alley, or you may not be able to go to the movies right now, or you may not be able to jump on a plane and go to St. Nevis or wherever you may want to go, Montego Bay in Jamaica. That may not be what you can do, but you can create something right there that's close by that will allow you to have a sense of play. That's maybe driving an hour out and go for a beautiful hike by a lake, or going into the mountains a couple hours away and hiking up there or having lunch. There are ways in which we can still feel some semblance of normalcy in the midst of so much uncertainty. So just because you can't get on a plane doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have an experience that fills you up, that allows you to get out the city, allows you to explore in different kinds of ways. So that's the first aspect that I do want to cover, is that we must take care of our mental health, and the social aspect allows us not to feel so isolated. We don't feel so lonely. There's a lot of loneliness now. So I just wanted to stop and pause and let you write those three things down. If you're married, attend to your marriage throughout the day as you're working. Do not negate your relationships to the end of the day, because you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be tired, you're not going to remember, you're going to have demands, and you're going to forget to connect. So integrate that. Just put it on the calendar. Send the wife a little text, send the husband a note, send my partner this. Boom, it's done. And do it every day. Make it so that it becomes just a part of the way that you have scheduled your day. And also with singles, the same thing. Continue to build your social network. It has to be intentional. Nothing magical is going to happen in this moment. We have to be intentional about what we want, the kind of lives that we actually want to live. We have to invest in it. We have to get into our lives in ways we haven't done before. Navigating the new normal is forcing us to come out of our comfort zone, to try something new, to see what's possible, to say what I haven't considered or what have I taken for granted 7 months ago that now I just cannot take for granted. That could be my relationships. That could be whatever it is from that regard. So keep that in mind. Your romantic relationships, your friendships, your personal relationships are critically important as we navigate this new norm. Okay, so that's that's critical to where we're going today. That's number one. That's foundational. Okay, so if you are thinking about where we're going to build the foundation of the house today. Okay, so the foundation we're laying, number one, is fortify your home and your relationships as we navigate this new norm. And part of that is having a healthy social mental health experience. That's with family, friends, your spouses, your partners, and also elements of play, imagination. And I'm going to leave here with imagination. The reason I love watching children is they use imagination like nobody's business. They're not afraid. There are no boundaries. We should have that same kind of zeal as well. There are no boundaries. Play, try something new, be silly, embarrass yourself. So you don't look good doing it. Who cares? So you messed up. Fine. So you didn't follow the rules of the game. Who cares? Have fun. Kids don't care about rules. They just see a playground and they make up rules and they go. They find those things that are available to them and they use them to their best of their abilities. Okay, so that's the first section. Um, let's talk about the business aspect of navigating the new norm. As a small business owner and being a member of the BBB, one of the things that I have recognized as a small business owner who works remotely most of the time, I would say 60% of my work is remote. 40% has been in offices, meeting people, doing conferences, doing workshops, doing one-on-one work with my clients and executive coaching and all kinds of aspects. That is now gone all remote. So I want to look at the business aspect of how to navigate this new normal when you've been either a hybrid experience like myself, where I work a little bit at home and I'm working outside the office, or I'm 100% in the office and never worked remotely, or I'm 100% remote and now it feels normal to me, but now I got three other people in the home that would have normally gone out and gone to work. Now they're working from home. Many individuals working under one roof has caused a lot of challenges. So in the business world, we want to make sure that we're number one is that the employee needs are taken care of. I know you've heard this before. We cannot just focus in on technology and how technology works. Technology is a tool, but if the culture is broken, if the way in which we operate as a business is broken, I do not care what kind of systems you have in place around technology. It's not going to matter if the culture is not in place. So we want to make sure that employee needs are first and foremost. What do you need what kind of resources do you need? What kind of support do you need? How are you feeling? Checking in with your people are critically important. So as business owners, and we have people that work for us, we need to be setting up, or could be setting up, or should be setting up what I call one-on-ones weekly. You guys know about those. You should be checking in with your people one-on-ones. That means you need to spend 15 to 20 minutes every week talking about their needs, their professional needs, their personal needs, their goals, and even projects. Those 3 or 4 areas. Let them drive the discussion. Let them tell you what their needs are. Let them tell you what directions they want to go. You, as a business owner, create those parameters, create the culture in order for that to happen. So that's number one. Meet your employees' needs through your one-on-one experiences. Do not stop having your one-on-ones. If you had those one-on-ones before, and when you were in the office face to face, do not stop doing them virtually. And matter of fact, if you're going to do them virtually, you can also move to phone. People are, we forget that we can call people on the cell phone, so you can do that as well. But keep that in mind. Your one-on-ones should not fall off. The goals of your employees should still be centered. They should still have a North Star, not just the work, but the professional development, the growth, their future plans should be number one. Because as you navigate this new norm, you want to keep the best and brightest around you. You don't want to lose your people in the midst of this navigating the new norm. Okay, so we talked about the social piece. Here is the business piece of navigating the new norm. Take care of your employees. Listen, meet the need, address the need, fix it so they can be productive, so you can have good retention, they can be engaged, they can have good morale, and also you're going to be able to retain them as employees over a period of time. That's what you want. Because right now, the job market is such, a lot of people are not leaving their jobs, or they're being laid off, furloughed. So those that we keep around us, we want to make sure that we have everything they need to do their work. They need to have a social component. They need to have a professional component, and they need to have their projects as one component as well. Make sure all of those areas are addressed on a weekly basis. It is okay for you to say, hey, I'm going to start doing one-on-ones, or I'm going to reintegrate one-on-ones, because I want to make sure that I'm hearing you, listening to you, and being a part of this particular new norm that we're doing as a company. Employees, number one. Number two, the business has to be agile. We talk about having an agile workforce. Our business need to be, we have to pivot. We got to be able to move. We got to be able to come out of our boxes. We got to be able to reinvent ourselves as business owners. We got to be able to know the room, right? Know your audience, what's happening in the marketplace. So now it's time for business owners to really read where we're going. Looking at the last quarter of the year, looking at 2021, what are we going to be doing differently? Because everything is changing. Everything is changing, from how we work, the economy, where we live, our purchasing power, everything is changing. So, business owners, I'm going to invite you to continue to pivot, continue to stay agile, continue to be flexible. We hear that word a lot in the workplace. I need a flexible workforce. We're a flexible company. Well, this time it has challenged us. Are we really flexible, or are we just saying that we're flexible? We must be flexible. So here's a flexible point I want to say to you. I was 40, 50% out of the office. Now all of my clients now, and all the work that I do is all remote. Now I had to be flexible in that, and my clients had to be flexible in that. That's one model that I had to change up. I no longer can see you one on one. I can't go into the office and work with you on the whiteboard and do all these sorts of things I normally would do, and have that personal interaction and bring you water and all those. I can't do that now. So what I can do is make sure that when I am presenting you information, we're working together as a client, we're working together as an organization, that I bring that same level of experience to the virtual world. So think about what needs to be done on a virtual level. I needed to change my technology. I had to get different lighting. I had to buy a new laptop. There are things I just needed to get ready for this new norm. That means I had to be flexible. I had to be pivot. I had to pivot. I had to learn how to go with the flow. This is what is needed. This is the hour that we're in, and I'm not going to lose clients, lose business, lose respect in the business world because I wasn't ready. So we talked about the pivoting. We talked about being flexible. Find areas and think about areas in the business that demands your attention to look at it through a different lens. The new norm is saying what we have done before as a business may not work moving forward. Now, there's some foundations of the business that we're not going to change. It just doesn't change from the way we handle taxes and employees and the business model and also the kind of business we're in. But just say, for instance, most restaurants didn't have a lot of takeout. But those who are trying to survive now, they've had to go to a takeout model. They had to go to a curbside pickup model. That means they had to order all of that equipment, all of those boxes, and all those things that we get from takeout. Those things weren't available 6 months ago because it wasn't that kind of restaurant. It was a sit down restaurant. Now they had to pivot, be flexible, become more of a curbside takeout restaurant, and change the whole business. That's the only way they're able to survive and thrive in this moment. Restaurants are a prime example of what it means to be flexible. Now, some would never come back. It, it just didn't happen. It can't happen. And it's unfortunate because we lose that as a community when small restaurants close and small businesses are not available. We lose that as a community. Something is lost in those moments. So navigating mental health during this moment is not only the social aspect, but it's also dealing with the business aspect of our employees, ourselves as business owners, right? And then also making sure that we are ready for this new normal moving forward. We've kind of worked out the kinks now. Since March, we've been working out the kinks, things are getting better, but there's some other things that are going to be changing as well. And we have to be ahead of it. We should already be in 2021 in terms of where this thing is going and what the business needs are going to be over the next year. We should already be thinking about those things, putting those people in place and putting those systems in place as well. That helps us navigate the new normal in a different kind of way. What I'm saying is it puts us back in the driver's seat. We're no longer reactionary. Okay, so that's number one. No, excuse me, that's number two. So we got the mental health aspect, the social aspect of navigating the new normal. That's number one. We got the business aspect of navigating. That's number two. Understanding your employees, understanding the business, having a clear vision, having a clear North Star. What is the vision? Where are we going now? What is asked of me in this particular moment that I haven't even considered? Is the business, can we salvage the business? It could be, maybe the business cannot be salvaged. That too is a conversation. Can we grow? Maybe this is opportunity for business to actually thrive. Some businesses thrive in this kind of environment. This could be a moment for you to scale. Do we need to scale back? Do we scale up? All of those things are critically important to navigating the new norm. It helps us with our mental health because we feel like we have a sense of control. We're not reactionary. We're not catching up. So I want us to think about moving forward in a way that's preventative, that's not reactionary, that we don't feel like that we're catching up. That helps us navigate the new normal. It keeps our stress levels down. Of course, there can be some level of stress in all things, but basically we're in control. We can we're like, okay, I'm not responding like I used to. I'm getting ahead of this now. And now we can put a vision in place that's big and broad and expansive and put those elements together to support that, give some legs to it. So that's number two. We have the social, now we have the business. And the third thing I want to focus in on as well is that when we are working with this new norm, we have to go back and look at the things we've put in place. This is the third piece. Is this going to be a short-term new norm, or this is going to be the new norm that we're going to be working with for the duration of our business? That's number three. So we got the social, we have also the business aspect, employee, the infrastructure in place. Third thing is that what kind of business what does my business need to look like as I navigate this new norm? What does it need to look like infrastructure wise? What does it need to look like in terms of product or services? What does it need to look like in terms of the right kind of people around me on the right bus going in the right direction? So number three is ask yourself the critical questions. Interrogate the business. Break the business down. Dive into it. It's real messy. It's complicated. There's a lot of uncertainty, but that's okay. Get into it. Don't be afraid to say, you know what? We're not where we are last year, from a year out. This is not looking good. Or we're ahead of the curve, or we're right where we're supposed to be. Okay, what can we add to it? What can we do differently? What do we need to do differently moving forward in order for this to continue to be a valuable service? Those those three things I'm just talking about here helps us navigate the new normal. I'm talking about boundaries and control and visionary being prevented. Right now, we have been reactionary for 90 days, and now the reactionary period is over. Now we really got to get down to the work of examining exactly what we're doing on a daily basis. It starts with the foundation that we're building. It also lends its way into the business aspect, employee driven, looking at the infrastructure of the business. And third, it allows us to ask us the critical questions: what is needed of me in this new normal? What has come to a head that needed to come to a head? What's been revealed? What needs to be fixed? What needs to be solidified? What needs to go away? So the third piece is, what do I need to start? What do I need to stop? And what do I need to finish? Start, stop, or maybe continue. That's what I want to say. You want to start something, you want to continue something, or you want to stop something. That's the last three things. This is the navigating the new norm is forcing us to be honest. If you're honest, we got to ask ourselves those three questions. What do I need to start? What do I need to stop? And what do I need to continue? Ask those three questions in every aspect of your business, and you're going to find the answers. What do I need to start? That's a new vision. Maybe it's another piece of equipment. Maybe that's a new marketing plan. Maybe start something new in terms of rolling out a new product, a new type of service, whatever it may be. What do I need to stop? I need to stop this when I'm dealing with my clients or my customers or whatever it may be. And thirdly, what do I need to continue? These are things I do well, and these things people keep asking for because I've been consistent, they have impact and influence, and they actually help people. These are the things I'm going to continue. What do I need to start, stop, and continue? That's the last three things. Navigating the new norm is about being honest about where we are, where we want to go, and what does it take to get there. We look at the social aspect of it: family, friends, play. We look at the business aspect: taking care of your employees, checking in with them, continue your one-on-ones. If you haven't continued those or start those, start those. It's one thing you can start is doing one-on-ones with your employees. Also looking at the business aspect: are we agile? Are we flexible? Are we too rigid? What do we need so we can continue to pivot? That's the business aspect of navigating the new normal. And then here's the last piece of navigating the new normal. What is required of me in this moment? What do I need to start? What do I need to stop? And what do I need to continue? So, with that being said, I want to honor the time that we're in. And I just want to say this as I bring George back in a few minutes, that is navigating the new normal is going to be a little rocky starting out. You're not going to get it right the first time. You're going to have to find your rhythm. You're going to have make mistakes. You're going to fumble the ball. Some things are going to work. Some things are not going to work. Be okay with that. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be in the process of building something great as we take on and shape this new normal as we move forward as an organization, as individuals, as a community of people moving forward. So that's basically what I want to talk about today. And I hope this was helpful for you. That's all I got. George is going to come back in. We're going to open it up for questions and answers. And hopefully I can bring some insight to all of you who are online. And thank you for being a part of this conversation, and thank the BBB as well. So I'm open for questions and answers. Once George come back in, he's going to help navigate that. And we're going to jump right into some good questions.
Yeah, I think my mic wasn't working initially. Sorry about that.
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that. Thank you so much for that presentation, David. I learned a lot. I'm definitely, ready to hear some questions. We actually did get some offline that came in. So when I looked at it, I was like, oh, there's some of this stuff you answered, but there were a few that, that I think are really important to some of these businesses. One of our businesses is asking, um, so what do you do when you see the signs that an employee that you have might be suffering from stress or they might be stressed out?
That's a great question. If you're with them, if you see one of your employees who are dealing with stress, who are stressed out, I would say two things. One is address it straightforward, meaning you may say, "Hey, I just want to check in with you. I'm seeing, you really come in as a high performer. You've really been doing a great job, but I'm seeing that perhaps you're not as focused as you used to be. Is there something you want to share? You want to talk about this? Just address it in a way of not trying to fix it, because a lot of employers like to fix things. Just inquire, be curious about it. That means a lot to the employee. And then ask them what they need. If they don't know what they need, then make a suggestion. Hey, why don't you take tomorrow off? Hey, I got a video I've been using that's been helping me with my stress. Or this is how I deal with stress. Tell your story so that you can connect with them as well. That's critically important so they know they're not alone. So address it straight up. Just kind of ask them in a gentle way. Um, I have noticed that you're not as focused as you used to be. Can you talk a little bit more about, are you willing to share some stress going on or this overwhelming for you? Let's talk about that. And they open up to you about it because they're going to. Then you bring your story in. Hey, I'm stressed as well. And here are the things I've been using, some of the tools that I've used to help me. Talk about what's been helping you, and then give them a gift. And that gift would be, so tomorrow, why don't you take off? Or why
Right.
don't you take off Monday? Don't check emails. Don't cut your work phone on. We're going to be okay. And I see you on Tuesday. That means a lot. And then, thirdly, then go back and check in with them again once they return. Hey, how are things going? Remember, if you need anything, we're here for you. So you're going to inquire, you're going to offer solutions, and then you're going to come back with follow up.
Gotcha, gotcha. That's actually a great answer. And I guess that ties into the next question that came in, which says, as a business owner during times like this, do you have any tips on how I can keep my stress level down? So we have one of our business owners asking, like, hey, look, I might be stressed. How do I keep my stress down?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, and
absolutely.
I can understand that.
Yeah, it kind of plays the same thing. A business owners, many times, we don't have our own commission to go to. We don't have people in our own lives that understands what it means to run a business. So we as business owners, many times we're too isolated ourselves. We should be a part of other communities of business owners. So that means if you're feeling stressed out, you should be able to pick up the phone and call another business owner that you know and say, "Hey man, how are you doing with the stress? Sheila, how are you doing with the stress? How are you guys navigating this thing? I've been noticing you guys have been just really on target. What's your secret? Because I'm over here, I'm struggling, I'm drowning." And then that because we need community. I'm gonna say that we need community to make this happen. So check into your community. I call it your truth commission. Every business owner needs to have a truth commission. You need to have people that are going to tell you the truth. Those are family and friends. Sometimes they don't because they're too close to for comfort. But there could be other business people, people that you know over the years that can hold you accountable to the things you say you want to do. And then you can check in with them and just say, okay, I'm dealing with stress. Here's what I need to do. This is how I deal with stress as a business owner. I'm going to be very transparent. I go for my walk every day. That's non-negotiable. I was talking to George not too long ago. He wanted to talk a little bit longer. And I said, I'm walking into the gym. I can't talk now. Non-negotiable for me right now, right? I'm working on health. I'm walking. I'm listening to certain music. And I'm learning how to play. I turn work off. So that means I'm feeding myself not only intellectually, spiritually, and physically. So when I get back into the work, I'm refreshed. I'm clear. I feel better. I'm going to bed at a certain time. We should have consistency in our rests. That means we should cut off technology at a certain time. It shouldn't be in our bedrooms. That causes stress. So we want to be able to turn work off. We got to have a start and stop time, those kinds of things. So I want business owners to begin to create non-negotiables around their health. That's walking, that's plenty of water, that's good diet, that's play, that's passion, that's pleasure. Put those things into play because that's non-negotiable. So when the stress level rises, you know you got your 7 o'clock walk tonight. Rain, sleet, or snow, you're going to do it because you know you're going to come down. That means integrate music, integrate things that you absolutely love that reduces the stress for you. So when you come back into the work, you're clear, you're refreshed, you're invigorated, and you're ready to go. And do it until it becomes integrated and a part of your daily routine, and you see your life change.
Gotcha, got you. So, and by the way, I didn't mind you saying, "Hey, look, I'm about to go in the gym." That was okay. That non-negotiable was actually a really good thing.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
uh, but yeah, so we do have one, and I think this one actually is really important. We have a question. One of the businesses is asking, should we be more forgiving right now if employees are not performing up to normal company standards?
That's a great one. We are seeing that in the business that I'm in, executive coach. I'm seeing that some areas production is high, performance is high. Some areas performance is waning. So with the areas of where the performance is waning, being forgiven does not mean that it lacks ownership and accountability. You can have a little bit more grace, but you can still have those components of accountability and ownership. This is where the relationship of trust comes in. A lot of times we don't know how to navigate and have these critical conversations because we haven't built a relationship with our employees. We've built a relationship with their job titles. We have not built a relationship with the person. So we want you to move beyond the job title, get in relationship with the person. Then, if the job begins to, if the performance begins to wane over time, you can speak to the performance because you have the relationship already in place. So the forgiveness comes from a place of trust, communication, accountability, ownership. You can navigate any space when the relationship is on target. So this is an indicator that perhaps when we talk about forgiveness, sure, you can forgive the work, but when you have a good relationship, you can speak to the production is low, no problem. Address it. It could be stress. It could be so much uncertainty. We don't know what's going on with our employees because we haven't checked in with them. To be honest, we haven't checked in with them. We do a light look. How's everybody's doing? How's everybody's weekend? How was your day? We really are not checking in with them. So we check in with them. They're going to bring you what you need. Then you can see, well, maybe this project is too much for them right now. Who do I
Mm,
have in place that can either I can pair them with, put them together with, or move them to another project so that they can get out this high stressful project, get into another project that allows them to navigate that differently. And when they're ready and they know they're ready to kind of turn up the volume again, because you know they have it in them, because you've seen it before, then you can move them to some other high demand kind of experiences or projects. So let me go back. I know I said a lot then. Number one, we have to get to know our employees. Okay, move beyond the job title and get to know them as a person. We're
right.
still stuck on the job title and the role, but we don't know David. We don't know George. We know very little about them. Number two, inquiry, interrogate the space. Just say, this is where you were. I'm seeing that things are kind of falling apart here. There's some challenges. Let's talk about what you need because I know you are a high performer. I've seen you do it before. I know you can do it, but I'm seeing that perhaps there's something off and I want to address it and I want to help you move through it because I want to continue to allow you to shine at this job. And then number three becomes solution focus in that as well. Where can I move them that can help them in this moment that I can move somebody into their slot, bring them into their slot, switch up, and then we can come back and keep the work moving, and then come back and address it over a period of time. But that's
Right.
how you do it. Yes, forgive, but have the accountability there, the ownership there, but that comes from a deep place of knowing and having a great relationship with your employees.
Oh, that's awesome. That is an awesome answer to that question. So we're gonna wrap it up, but I got one more question for you
Okay.
here, and this came in. Uh, I kind of know where this question is going. They're saying a lot of businesses are working from home now, including mine. Travel is still somewhat restricted around the country. Do you still recommend that I take regular days off, or maybe save those days for when more things open up? So I
Yeah.
think this is probably one of the managers somewhere that's asking this question.
Okay, so let's talk about PTO. Let's talk about personal time off for a second. Um, we should be utilizing time off and vacation time regularly, even though we're not leaving the house. Because again, navigating the new norm, navigating mental health during this new norm, is that we take time off. So if you have PTO time, take a long weekend. It's okay. Take a half day here and there. Take a day. Take 2 days in a row. Use your PTO time. What I'm noticing with my clients who are all high performers, who are all executives, directors, senior directors, VP, they're not taking any time off. They're working more hours than ever before. They are not turning this thing down. And so I want to make sure that when we talk about should you take off time even though you can't travel? Absolutely. Time off and vacation is not always about travel. It's about taking care of yourself. It's about getting a break from work. It's about recharging. So let's reframe how we think about time off. Time off is like, in America, we only take time off because we got a trip to go on. We may take time off every now and then for a doctor's appointment, but there's personal time off. That's why it's called personal time off. Take the personal time to really utilize PTO now than ever before, although you're home. Okay. So I know we don't think if we can, pack a bag, head to Atlanta Hartsfield Airport or wherever we're living, that we can't take any time off. PTO and vacation time is just as important now when we're not traveling as much when it was when we were traveling. I'm encouraging everyone who's on this line, please take time off. Use your PTO time, use your vacation time. Set the model for those around you and also your home to say, Daddy or Mommy is off. We're going to have a great time, our time to play, even though you may just be in the backyard.
Gotcha, gotcha. So that's well, do have one more question actually. I did have one that came in, and they're asking, is there such a thing as too much communication? Like, is leadership or my business over communicating with me? I think that's actually a pretty good question.
Yeah, that's about boundaries, right? So
Mm,
we have to set up healthy boundaries. There is a certain thing of over communicating. We should not be slacking. We should not be sending instant messages to our people in the middle of the night. People are getting
mm,
Slack messages at 2 o'clock in the morning, IM messages at 3 o'clock in the morning, instant messages at 9 o'clock at night. We're never off. With emails are coming through all night long.
mm,
It's too much communication coming through. We have to set up healthy boundaries. We have to teach our managers how to treat us. We have to say,
mm.
you have me from 9 to 5. Hey, 5 to 7 is family time. 9 o'clock, I'm with my wife and my husband, my partner. We sleep. We're relaxing. You don't have access to me like that. That's okay, especially if it's just a regular week. Now, if we're moving to a big project, we got to launch and things are hectic, of course, that changes. But if it's just a regular work week and you guys are just putting out the work, teach your manager about boundaries. Advocate for your boundaries. This goes back to we're not advocating for ourselves at work. Your manager should know you well enough not to IM you at 8 o'clock at night because they know you're not going to be on. They know not to send you an email at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if managers are sending you a 3 a.m. message or 11 o'clock p.m. IM message or Slack message, that's a culture piece. So
Mm,
it's a changing of the culture now. And
right.
so that drives right into driving a new change and navigating a new normal in the culture. So it's layered, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But the first thing I want to say to those who are talking about over communicating, talk to your manager, and just let them know what your lifestyle is. At 6 o'clock at night, I'm 6 to 7, I'm walking, I'm working out. 7 to 9 is dinner time, playtime with my kids. Lights out at 10:30. You don't I'm not going to check any messages until I get up in the morning and I log on for work. If
Right.
they got a problem with that, if they got a problem with you being a whole person, then that's a different kind of conversation. You have to ask yourself, am I with the right company? Because I don't want to work
Got
for
it.
anyone who don't respect boundaries. I hope
Right,
that's helpful.
right. Right. Yeah, and I guess the addendum to that question really is, the question actually is a secondary question, but it kind of ties right into that. Is having a morning meeting every day maybe too much? Like, I guess morning sync meetings for
Yeah.
businesses.
Yeah, well, it depends on the business. Some business need that stand up, need that what they call the stand up in technology. You need that morning meeting, but these meetings need to be productive toward a vision. If we're just meeting just to be meeting, release those meetings. I tell people we're meeting so much, and people are burnt out with meetings. I hope there's some business owners over here and some managers online. People are burned out with meetings. So this is why, again, we don't know our employees. If you know that your employees are turned off by those morning meetings, make them once a week, make them twice a week. Matter of fact, switch up how you do them so they won't get so boring. Have other people lead them. Do a morning meeting that's animated that you can send a video in. I mean, there's so many things you can do to make it easier for people if you can't get away from them, right? But we should not be meeting every Monday morning. I mean, not every morning we should not be having a stand-up meeting. We shouldn't, unless that's just the nature of the business, especially in technology. A lot of my engineers I work with are doing stand-ups. They do their weekly stand-up, but they're not doing every morning stand-ups. There's nothing that happened between last night and the next morning that we need to constantly meet on every day. So
Right.
talk to your people about that as well. That's a culture piece. It goes back to we have the culture of work that feels like that if we're on, that we're productive. But
Right.
that's not necessarily true. Most of the time, just because we're on does not mean we're effective. We're just
Mm.
on. I want us to get off of being on, get to be effective, productive, and influential, and reduce all these meetings so your people can have a break, reduce their stress, get people are not working on their work, they're in meetings. I want to
Mm.
say that people are not working. They're in meetings. If you're in meetings from the time you get there and the time you leave, what work have you done?
Mm.
You haven't done any work. So companies can't argue that production is low when you look at your people's calendar and then all meetings, all these meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings, when 4 or 5 hours of the day is spent in meetings that they probably shouldn't even be tagged in. So
Wow.
we
Yeah.
gotta we gotta be able to raise our standard and levels and say, okay, I've been tagged in this meeting. Let me see what's the purpose of this meeting. I may not need to be in it. Can I send someone else as a proxy? Can you send me the PowerPoint notes? That's all that I need, basically. Am I really needed in this particular meeting? I'm hearing over and over again. They don't. That most of the times, to be honest with you, George, people are not needed in all these meetings.
Right.
So I want us to think about this. So I said all that to say is over communicating, having all of these meetings many times are boring to a lot of people. They lack
Mm.
productivity and they're ineffective. And I'm telling you, the last thing that happens, people get burned out, and
Right.
you begin to see a lack of production, and it has a negative impact over time. I hope that's helpful.
Oh yeah, that's definitely helpful. Those were wise words. Definitely wise words. Well, David, I appreciate you being here. I think I speak on behalf of our BBB community that are out there and our accredited businesses and our non-accredited businesses. Actually, I see a few of them that are actually listening in. This was awesome. We definitely appreciate you coming in and look forward to talking to you again. This is again David Smith from I Speak Life. This coaching service, life coaching service out here in Atlanta. He's an accredited business. We thank you for coming in, David. Appreciate it. And everyone who attended today, we definitely appreciate you being here. We'll have a replay set up for this. And again, we thank you for being here for this particular webinar. I hope it was powerful. I hope you gained something from it. Again, the Better Business Bureau is here for you, for all our accredited businesses, all our businesses that are listening in right now. We just want to let you know, if you give us a call, we're happy to help you out, put you in touch with more accredited businesses just like David's business. You can also go to our website, bbb.org, and we'll have somebody on the other side of that keyboard just as friendly and ready to help you out. So until we see you guys next time, thank you for attending this Navigating the New Normal. David, thank you again. Appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you again for having me. And I want to say they can go to ispeaklifecoaching.com. It's ispeaklifecoaching.com. And I have on my blog, I got executive presence, I got team dynamics, I got handling stress, COVID-19 workforce, working remotely. I have a lot of resources that are free that can continue this conversation on beyond this point.
Oh, that is awesome. And I'll make sure that when we put all of those things when we do the replay, make sure we have all of that stuff in our title page too for you. So,
Thank you.
anybody that wants to get in touch with David, make sure you look him up because he is a powerful speaker and he's got a lot of wise words for a lot of businesses out there. So, everyone, thank you guys for attending. Y'all have a great day. And any last words for him, David?
I want them to navigate this new normal with ease, with grace, with patience, and with care. Take good care of yourselves out there, people, and we'll speak soon.
All right, and I'll tack on to the end of that. Everybody, take care of yourselves. Y'all have a great day, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.